So, you've got your piano or piano-like substance. Now what? If I think about the performers and the teachers who influenced me over the years, it ends up being a pretty long list. One that also evolves. I was initially obsessed with Glenn Gould until I discovered Rosalind Turek, who had all the mechanical clarity and creativity of interpretation that people love Gould for, minus all the obnoxious humming. If I'm trying to emulate anyone when I play Bach, it's Rosalind Turek. For Beethoven, I think of Richard Good for his cleanliness and accuracy, and also of Barenboim for channeling the contrast between delicacy and this wonderful kind of keeping it real messiness that I think Beethoven is all about, and why I love his music so much. With the BEPS, the name's been decided, by the way. Sure, I want to play them accurately, but I don't want to be too safe or try too hard to color inside the lines. In contrast to Bach, I think that's one of the things I expect Beethoven to teach me. Ultimately, your performer-teacher influencers are just influencers. They influence you, but what comes out the other end is yours. I'm not out to copy anyone, per se, because what would be the point of that? In a lesson with one of my teachers a long time ago, I'll never forget him stopping me as I was blathering on about something along the lines of wanting to play a piece like so-and-so. What you should want, he said, is for your own performance to be your favorite performance. A couple of other tips. If I were starting over again, I would think a little bit more rationally about my time budget for this amateur pursuit. Rather than starting with every available moment when I'm not working, maybe instead an hour on weekdays, 2 or 3 on Saturday and Sunday. This is obviously easier if you're single, but if you're not, make an arrangement with your significant other or others. You and they will thank me for that later. Also, it's good to have goals, but it might take some time to know what's achievable in the amount of time you can afford to spend when you're first starting out. Single session goals, which lead to weekly goals, which lead to finishing a piece before you get sick of it. I've got lots more to say about getting sick of things, but I'll talk about that later. One of the few lingering benefits of having been raised in an extremely conservative religious household is an ability I have to ritualize tasks and infuse them with meaning. And even as long ago I canceled my magazine subscription to said ancestral religion, I retain the regularity and zeal from those formative years every time I trim my fingernails. If it is 8 a.m. on Saturday morning Eastern Time, I am performing the holy sacrament of the trimming of the fingernails, which marks the beginning of my weekend practice ritual. Another important rule is no pedal until the finishing phase of a piece. Nothing is so harmful to piano technique as relying on the sustain pedal to do what your fingers should do on their own. If that rule makes you mad, by all means, give voice to your anger in the comments. And finally, at least in the early stage of learning a new piece, it's important to turn off your feelings. This can be difficult to do, especially if you really love the piece you're learning, but feelings get in the way of the focus that's required to get your brain and hands to work together properly in the beginning. Once your brain and your hands more or less know what they're supposed to do and can do it with less effort, conscious effort, you can have your feelings back, but only at the very end. I love slow practice. What I love about it is that you get an opportunity effectively to zoom in to a piece of music. So if visually zooming in gets you a closer look of a photograph, then slow practice or playing through a piece very, very, very slowly gives you a chance to zoom into that piece of music. And You hear things that you don't typically hear when you're listening to an at tempo performance, or when you yourself are playing it at tempo. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe and click the notification bell so that you get notified when I release new videos. If you disliked this video, be sure to dislike. See you later.